La finalitat d'aquest segon debat és contraposar els principals arguments en favor i en contra de l'activitat filantròpica. En favor i en contra del paper que la filantropia pot exercir com a agent de provisió de benestar, al costat d'altres agents de provisió de benestar més convencionals, com l'Estat o com el mercat. Per dur a terme aquesta tasca tinc el privilegi de trobar-me amb dues persones de gran renom, de gran prestigi, amb un profund coneixement i amb una dilatada experiència precisament sobre els temes que ens combreguen aquí i a les quals agraeixo enormement la seva disposició a participar en aquest debat. Dan Corry and Stephen Ball, many thanks for being here.
There are so many issues that need addressing. Poverty, mental health, disability, loneliness, particularly in old age, youth unemployment, communities that no longer function, migrants that are getting lost and cut off. There are endless lists. I'm sure you could produce your own. And to solve some of these, to see what can work, apart from just giving money to sort of alleviate the suffering, if we want to sort of work upstream more, then we're going to have to innovate to see what works and what doesn't work. Philanthropy can support that innovation. It can try things out, it can evaluate them and get them evaluated properly, and then if they have worked, it can offer them to governments at national or local levels or any other levels for mainstreaming. So philanthropy has got to be a complement to state action, not driving the system. And remember, in almost all countries, philanthropy, however big it is, even the Bill Gateses and so on, will still be pretty small relative to what the government is spending.
I want to make the point that not everything about philanthropy is bad, but there are some things about philanthropy that are dangerous, who are concerned about philanthropy contributing to a more general process of democratic deficit within the new forms of governance which are beginning to operate in states around the world. But also that the participation of philanthropy involves the displacing of public values and the replacing of these with private values. The possibility that individual philanthropists or philanthropic foundations are able to pursue their own moral and values goals through their funding and through their donations. And that these things are entangled with a more general process of the reform of the state, which has implications for the way in which new kinds of actors, including philanthropic actors, now have access to and participate in the policy process. These foundations are increasingly able to bring their weight to bear, both through social capital and economic capital, to change policy agendas without any democratic accountability.
We're going to start this conversation between the three of us, actually between the two of you.
In some ways, I'm hearing people with a lot of money use that money to try and influence things. It's always been like that. It always will be like that.
What is different, I think, is a kind of strategic approach to philanthropy, which is underpinned by particular political philosophies, in the case of Broad, for example, or a set of commitments to a particular version of the economy and politics, in the case of Gates, and that the donations, the funding, are actually strategically targeted around achieving those.
There are a lot of local groups, community groups, charity groups. They just need a bit of money from somebody to keep them going, and then they will help some of the old people in the town or help some of the young unemployed people. The funder doesn't want to overdo the amount of metrics they ask for. They just want to do a bit of due diligence to check the organisation kind of really exists and that it's not running away with the money or something. And I think so we need those kind of funders as well.
On està la línia divisòria entre aquelles polítiques que apliquen la filantropia, en aquells llocs on determinen on aplicar la filantropia, els seus diners, no? I on està la línia aquesta que tindria que ser assumida per les polítiques socials dels governs.
That, I think, comes back to who in the state is making the laws. I mean, the only reason these philanthropists could get involved in education in the UK is because we changed the policy and the laws to allow them to do that.
I think the one thing that is missing, from my point of view, which could be thought about, is some kind of ethical auditing, particularly around certain programs. But I would be very pleased to see the creation of a kind of ethical commission to which would-be funders of state programs. I mean, what they do with their money in other areas is their concern. But funders or participants in state programs had to submit themselves to